What's going on, everybody? I'm headed out to the field with Mark Baker today, and he's going to be walking me through his fence system and how he goes about keeping his cows in, doing temporary fencing, and all things related to fencing cows. We're headed out right now. Let's get into it. All right, now that we're out to the spot where we're actually going to set up this temporary fence for the cows to roam out here, we got Mark Baker right here. Yeah, he's filming for his TikTok dance. We'll just wait till he's done. Check him out. All right, Mike, so tell us about your pasture management system. What do you have going on out here?
All right, so we want to keep this field from getting too beat up by overgrazing it. So we don't want the cattle on it too long. So about a couple, 3 days is about right for a section. So if you turn that around and look here, this up in here, they haven't been on here for a while. They've been going down that way to a different set of fields, and I'm going to just demonstrate how we would set up a temporary fence so I could let them up on here for a while, you know, like a few days. So I'm going to use these step-in posts. They're pretty simple. I got these 10 years ago for $2 a piece, and the way they work is you just walk them out and step them in like that, and then I have a nice little pigtail there that I can put a wire through, and it's right about the right height that a cow is not going to try and go under it, and they're too lazy to jump over it. So they'll just know that there's electricity through that fence, and that'll be it. The other component to this is this wire. I've got a nice reel for it, so I can reel it back in, but the wire is what they call poly wire. So it's made out of polypropylene, and it's got 2 strands of wire in it, nichrome wire, and then I have this connector on one end so I can connect it to a hot fence. And what we have is, this is the semi-permanent fence that runs around the perimeter here, and it provides them with a lane that they can travel out here. So I don't have to have them traveling over this field all the time. I can make it so they can't get on this field at all. And see, that's the beauty of this, is I can limit where they're going to go. So on the farm we have a field complex. We have a bunch of fields that are anywhere from 6 acres to 20 acres. And then I can subdivide those fields with this system here. So this top field here that we're looking at, it's 10 acres. I don't want to give them the whole 10 acres on, because in rotational grazing, not so much this time of the year, but especially in the spring when we have a lot of different species coming up, you only want to give them a little slice of the field so they eat everything down evenly. If we give them the whole field, they'll just pick out the things they like, and everything else will grow. Now, those things that they don't like, it's not like they don't like them to the point where they won't eat them. It's sort of like if a kid has Brussels sprouts and green beans. Like, my kids don't really love either one, but if they had to have a second helping, they'd probably have green beans, you know, instead of Brussels sprouts. Like, it's one of those deals. But in the springtime, I do not want them to bite off the stuff that they like, and then come back to it a day later or 2 days later and take the second bite. Because if they do that, there's a good chance that it could kill that plant forever and ever. It'll just be dead.
They eat too much of it when it's too young.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. What you want is you want them to take the first bite. They may take it off right at the ground level or a little above that, and then give it a week to grow back, and then they could go back and they could do the same thing. But it wouldn't be as though if they took it off to, let's say, 1 inch, and then 2 days later came back and took it off right to the ground. Then you could kill it.
I see.
You want to allow it what they call recovery time.
Okay.
In the spring, when the flush is going on, recovery times are a whole lot shorter. This time of the year, when it's cold, there is no recovery time. So everything that's out here will be here in the spring, unless they eat it, and then they're going to distribute it someplace else in manure. So this time of the year, I actually give them pretty big fields, because nothing's growing back. They're just taking it off, and that's it.
And you're going to put these posts, what's your spacing look like on these posts?
10 paces.
10 paces? Okay.
Give or take. Depends how.
I imagine it's not that too critical of a thing.
Not really. If the cows are beef cattle, especially, they can be a little bit more aggressive and pushy. And let's say that you've got a long space in between posts, then you might have a sag in there.
Okay.
That could be fairly low, and they could step over it or get pushed over it. And usually if one goes over, then the rest of them figure they have to go over it too.
So probably err on the side of more posts than less?
Yeah, we got plenty of posts.
Gotcha.
So I'll go 10 paces, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yep. And so I'm looking where I want it to end up, and then I'm just going to draw a line across and go over there and put my first one in, and then 10 paces, the second one in.
So on and so forth?
So on until I get over there.
Gotcha. Okay.
And on a day like today, it's not like it's snowing or anything.
Did just have our first snow of the year.
Put my first post in, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably what I'll do is I'll walk out there, I'll hook it up to the fence, and then walk it back, and then hook it up on that fence there. And then on my way out, I'll slide back and hook it up to the electric.
Looking at some perimeter fence that had a limb fall on it, so Mark's just clearing that off expertly. All right, so what we just put up is a temporary fence where you separate your paddocks up.
Yeah.
And then your perimeter fence is built much more hardily. You just walk us through real quick what you got here.
Okay. Yeah, this farm has a perimeter fence around the entire thing. It was, actually we built this. And at the time we built this, we decided that we wanted to use woven wire for the bottom. So we've got a 39-inch woven wire, and then we have barbed wire on the top of this. And it's turned out to be more than sufficient for cows, way more than sufficient. They're not interested in pushing on this fence at all because out there they've got all that nice green grass that they can eat. So this is the type of fence we have around the entire farm. And then what we do is a field like this, this is 20 acres, then we can subdivide this with the temp fence.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And you have a ebook on your website detailing exactly how you build these corner posts and all the thought that goes into this and considerations. So this wire, your woven wire is like your shield against them moving out, and then the barbed wire is so they're not leaning over, correct? Okay. Belt and suspenders.
Belt and suspenders.
Belt and suspenders.
Yep, it's redundancy.
If that helped you out, I definitely learned some things about fencing and rotational grazing here today. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. We'll be answering questions down there. If feel like it, give a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And check this video out right here, because we're talking about Mark's philosophy on the homestead cow. So you're definitely going to want to check this out. We'll catch you guys in the next one.